I know how you must feel. Lost. Alone. Hopeless. You probably deserve it. But even for you, there is still a way. A way to bring it all back. The one precious thing you ever truly desired. Finish it.
Do you know what is just as scary in horror games with cruel monsters, little girls and dolls? Nice painting. So why not make a game out of it? In Layers of Fear you take on the role of a successful and celebrated painter and replay part of his story. More specifically, only the crucial course in his life that led to his current state. Because actually the painter could have had a very nice life. However, there were strokes of fate that led to what he is now. The story is very tragic but also exciting. During the game you can relive the strokes of fate and what exactly happened. And that in a way that few games can. One thing is obvious, the painter has some serious problems. And so you go straight from the beginning into this madness that the painter experiences. The game tells a story at walking pace about pieces of paper, objects and above all, about the shape of its world. The game is incredibly expressive. In many moments the visual impressions are enough to understand what is being told. What can be seen is very detailed and the graphics also look very good. You cannot run or fight and you don't even need that, it would only bother in this game. You can sit back and enjoy the horror. And that is incredibly well done. This atmosphere in the game, and it's sometimes incredibly dense. Every time you turn around, the world may look different than it did before. Suddenly there's a picture of where there should be. The game likes to use this function and does everything right. Because with this and a very good soundscape, the game continuously creates a very strong feeling of discomfort. The further you go crazy with the painter, the more extreme the events become. There are many memorable scenes and moments. I would like to show every single scene here, but then the video would probably be an hour long. This is remarkable because I finished the game in 3 hours. But I have a little criticism. In my opinion, the game has too many jump scares. In principle, I have nothing against jump scares, but only if they are set well. There is also a DLC, however this DLC is very short and you will only need an hour. The horror is not so pronounced and there is hardly any jump scare. You shouldn't miss it because it complements the story, but every additional word would be a spoiler.
Such a shame. You almost had it.
In Layers of Fear 2, creepy paintings are exchanged for another very good horror element, dolls. This time we take on the role of an actor and he also has some serious problems that are dealt with throughout the story. And the story is also extremely exciting and even more mysterious than in the first part, but here too, every additional word would be a spoiler.
Listen, once you get there, just do what you have to do. Get to the set and build this character for him. That's all that matters.
And from here it gets very subjective, if it hasn't already been. In my eyes, Layers of Fear 2 does a lot of things differently, but still right. For one thing, this time it took me 6 hours instead of 3 hours. This time the developers gave the game more time in the beginning, and it worked very well, but in many places the horror is neglected in my eyes and becomes a simple walking simulator. Which is not bad, because like in the first part, the world is again very impressive, beautiful and cruel, and with the ship you have a rather unused environment. As already mentioned, there were many scenes in the first part that I would have liked to show in this video. There are far fewer of these scenes in the second part, much less, but such abstruse moments are designed differently. It's hard to describe, it's different, but still good. And now to 3 points that bother me a lot. There were a lot of more jump scares and they were mostly bad tuned. But what really pissed me off was the opponent who showed up far too often. Nothing against opponents in horror games, but no idea what the developers thought of this one. But one step backwards. In the first part, Layers of Fear is a game for me in which you can sit back and relax with the controller. Therefore I have greatly reduced the sensitivity of the controller. So I played the game a little slower and it worked very well in the first part, and so in the second part too, unless the opponent appeared, because apart from one scene you always had to run away from him. Yes, run away. It may sound like I am exaggerating, but that disturbed the flow of the game and the atmosphere so much. Not hiding, not outsmarting, not fighting, just run, and in one place it's even very random. To make matter worse, my controller settings weren't set to run away. Every time the opponent came, I had to put my controller away and play with my keyboard. There was another very annoying problem. Setting the game's precom and gamma settings made it look fantastic most of the time and added wonderfully to the atmosphere. However, there was the problem that it was often too dark to find the way. If the opponent shows up and you had to run away on the path you couldn't see, have fun. So I had to go a lot higher in the gamma settings to see anything, and once I found the way, that was only a matter of seconds, I could lower the value again, because with the high value the game just looked like shit. This is annoying for a shooter game, but in a horror game the atmosphere is simply completely destroyed. Is Layers of Fear 2 worth it anyway? Yes, absolutely. Aside from these features, the game is really good. These characteristics fucks me up because I know that without them I would love the game. And maybe you see it differently. With the gamma value you can look for a compromise and maybe the opponent doesn't bother you. If so, you have a great game ahead of you.